Hi everyone, it's Lewis here with East Coast Hunting Tips. Thank you for joining me in today's brand new video. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button to see more content like this in the future. So tune in for today's video. We're going to be talking about scrapes and rubs. If you're new to hunting and you want to get out there and kind of learn to see what the bucks do during kind of the early season pre-rut period, if you get out there in the woods and look along ridge lines, water sources, bedding areas if you can find them, you're going to find, on some smaller saplings or even some larger trees, you'll see what looks like a big scrape mark on the tree. And I'll put a picture of what that looks like in here. So that right there is a picture of a typical buck rub that's in the woods. And they like to rub on cedars, pines, just some smaller saplings, from ranging about that big to, somewhere around in there even. Why do bucks do this? And the main reason why they do this is for communication. Now, an average buck during this season is going to make between 300 to 400 rubs during the breeding season. That's a lot. So, if you take an account to, if you can find a rub line, it's very important. If you're new to hunting, if you see a rub like that, if you can tell that it's just, just one rub, it might not be necessarily good to hunt on just that one rub because, if a buck is making 300 to 400 rubs, sitting on one rub is not really going to do you. What I would recommend doing is following a rub line until you come across what we're going to be talking about next, and that's what's going to be called a scrape. Now, a scrape essentially is kind of a circular area on the ground. It'll be between 2 feet to 3 feet in diameter, and it's going to be about a circle where the bucks like to paw on the ground and take the leaves and stuff away to expose dirt, and then they like to urinate in the spot. And that again is a big form of communication for those deer, because that establishes, this is my area, and other bucks in the area will come to the same scrape and do the same thing. They'll freshen it, they'll paw at it, they'll, if there's trees that are hanging down above the scrape, they'll like to rub their head on it to get some forehead gland scent going on. And basically, this is communication between deer. Hey, I'm in the area too. I have came and freshened your scrape. So this is how the bucks all communicate with each other. Those will come into scrapes and investigate too, because you can find what's called a community scrape. And basically what that is all the deer in that area are going to that scrape. And I've actually found one of those in the woods. I've only found one the entire time I've been hunting. And I've been hunting for almost 11 years now. And I found it underneath a big pine tree. And I mean, you could just tell that the deer were coming and scraping it every single day. I mean, you could just tell it was once in the morning, once in the evening, that deer were coming in to that scrape. And, there was doe prints in that scrape too. So it's not just necessarily bucks that come into scrapes too. I mean, deer, they use that for communication, and it's very important. So, and they scrape in certain areas and kind of make boundaries of where their territory is going to be, where their breeding area is going to be. So if you do find a scrape, walk through your area and try to find more to find that boundary. And if you can find a community scrape too on the ground, you'll definitely be able to tell what that looks like, because it'll be really tore up. But put a camera on those scrapes, very important. You can go to Walmart and buy a cheap $50 Tasco camera like I did, and, put it on those scrapes. See what kind of deer are in your area that are coming in. And in fact, another, a myth out there is, whether or not you should urinate in the scrape. And it has actually been studies that shown if you urinate in a scrape, you'll actually pique a buck's curiosity. So there's another tip for you that you might not know. Do that. Put your camera on there. See what happens. If the bucks are coming in to check it out, to investigate what's going on in their area, that's going to give you some great pieces of knowledge when you're hunting in that rut stand, that rut setup, whatever you have. But, find those scrapes, find those rubs. It's very important. The rubs, when you find the rubs, that's a good starting point, should I say. If you're following a rub line, and say when you first start following that rub line, you're not seeing much of anything, but now all of a sudden you found a scrape on the ground. You now have a new piece to the puzzle as to where that buck is going during that time of the year. So very important, follow those rub lines if you can. And, if you find the scrapes, you might have a stand that you only see 1 or 2 deer out of a year, but you decide to follow those rub lines. Now you're seeing scrapes. Now you're seeing sign that you've never seen before in your area. You move your setup to that area, and you might bag a buck that year. So it's very important that, if you're not seeing a lot of deer, you might not necessarily be in the right area at that time. Because I have a stand that I have set up, and it's right along a stream, and I had pictures of bucks, all summer long that were hanging out by that stream for the water. But once rut hit, they were gone, the big ones. So it's very important. Figure out what those deer are doing right after, summertime. Right as soon as that goes by, you got to try to figure out where those mature bucks are going. And you also need to figure out where the does are going too. Because when you find the does during the breeding season, guess what? You're going to find the bucks that are chasing them. So, follow rub lines, find scrapes. 2 very, very important keys to, putting all those pieces of the puzzle together to help you bag that big buck this year. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more content like this in the future. And thanks for watching. Tune in next time.